Hey, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to the Hanging On to Hope podcast.
I'm Brenda J.
And I'm Karen Wonder.
And we are HangingOnToHope.org.
This podcast is intended as educational and is not psychological or medical advice. Always consult a professional when needed, and we disclaim any liability in connection with the instruction, information, or advice given.
Hi, everyone. The moment you've all been waiting for is finally here. The Religion Business docuseries is available on thereligionbusiness.com. Click the link in the show notes for exclusive savings. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Hanging On to Hope podcast. This is Brenda J. Today, we'd like to welcome Nathan Apffel to the show. Nathan is a filmmaker with 15 years of experience who's working on a documentary series called The Religion Business. He's also working with creators to create an app that will hold churches and nonprofits accountable to report their salaries and spending. So welcome to the show, Nathan.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's nice to see you again after seeing you at the conference.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks for approaching me and
Yeah, I already saw you on Julie Royce's podcast. So yeah, I was excited when she said you were going to be there.
Continuing with part 4. So you say there's a lot of good work being done out there, and you've inspired me to press forward and continue to allow the Holy Spirit to lead. What we started doing in Phoenix, like all the nonprofits work together, we talked about this earlier, and resource, because we don't have a lot of resources in the area to stop domestic violence, human trafficking, and spiritual abuse is a big one. And we're having churches come alongside. It's been a beautiful thing. We've witnessed churches come alongside and assist with helping domestic violence victims. And that's what we need. We need lots of people to help. So yeah. And then the only other question, I had gone through a situation that I had to walk away from. I just started researching and realizing that I don't think anywhere Jesus talked about in the Gospels, he talked the complete opposite about money, possession. Like he tells the rich man to sell your possessions and give to the poor and to come follow him. And the man walked away sad because he had great wealth. And it's easier for a camel to get through an eye of a needle than a rich man to get to the kingdom of heaven. And then also when Jesus went and fasted in the desert for 40 days and was tempted by the devil offered him all the riches and he turned it. So I don't see any examples where Jesus in his life talks about acquiring great wealth. Do you know any?
No, he talked about the opposite.
Yeah.
He said the birds of the air don't concern themselves where their next, meal comes from. God provides. I think this is a big, I wrestle with this constantly. And I think most authentic Christians wrestle with this idea of wealth or accumulated wealth. Again, wealth isn't in and of itself bad. Resources, like money, is a tool. Christ says, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing when you give. And I firmly believe the reason why this show and this app is going to be successful and why God's brought the people he has into my life to bring this to market is because my only prayer in all this has always been, hey, just lead me day by day. I don't know what to do tomorrow. So I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to do what I know I need to do today. And I have faith you will, number one, provide resources. And number two, you'll open doors I need to get through. And it has become over the last year such a part of my being in that regard. And so should I be frivolous and give everything away as I raise kids and they're in school and they're costing? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But it's like, do I need to acquire wealth to set aside for retirement? I don't believe I do. Like, I am a able-bodied man who will work till probably the day I die. And because I love my work and I believe what I do is here to better humanity, to bring God's kingdom here. And so God has blessed me with lots, both emotionally, spiritually, financially. And all of that, I believe, needs to be pointed out. And this is something that I really struggle with institutions, is they've become insular, right? So my favorite is Easter Sunday's coming up. And I've heard lots of different religious organizations say, hey, invite 5 friends this Easter. Go out and say, hey, I want you to hear about Christ and the resurrection. Come to church. And my first rebuttal is always like, well, why doesn't this individual just tell them about it? Right? Because we need butts in the seats. We have an expensive operation an overhead that we have to pay for. And so instead of going out, all time, talent, and treasure and resource focuses in. And when we start focusing inward, that is where we lose sight of Christ's message, I think, is this isn't mine. It needs to be steered outwards.
Yeah.
And if your life is an outpouring, you could be the richest person in the world. And it doesn't matter because number one, you're probably stewarding the resources pretty well. And then you're pouring everything out, or you could be the poorest woman in the temple and give her last two pieces, like last two widows might. But it's about an outward focus. And right now, the Christian church as a whole, and this is a broad brush statement, is insular focused. And so that's the fatal flaw is when you start looking insular. I need to protect my resources. I need to protect this. That's when you've missed the mark, I think, on what Christ was saying.
I totally agree. I'm so glad I asked that question because I feel like I love the way you answered that. I do think that needs to be focused. Everything needs to be focused outward. It changes you.
Mm-hmm. Well, and here's a good, like even this show, I'll be very vulnerable. Like even this show and this app, to much is given, much is required. And it's the first project I've ever done personally and produced that I had a business partner say, Nathan, whatever you need.
Wow.
And so because of that, he is one of my closest friends, allies, brothers in Christ. Like we trust each other intimately and we have never looked insular this whole time. Yeah. And it's been such a beautiful journey because I guess it was an act of faith where I'm like, we're not looking insular. We're always looking out. And we have been provided for every day, there's a new breadcrumb and that's the unknown that Sister Rosemary talks about.
Yeah.
As long as you're focused outward, the unknown will be there and God's going to catch you. Yeah. And hey, I wanted to make this show when I was 28. I went out and self-funded part of it. I couldn't find a financer. I shot it all. I didn't like the way it went, so I shelved it. And I had to sit for almost 8 years. And I said, well, God, maybe you don't want me to make this show. You're not providing. And it wasn't that at all. He needed to refine me though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so Nathan's not on Nathan's timeline. I'm on God's.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We all really should be. That's, that's how it works best.
100%. And so it's like, I had to have my daughter. I had to be broken over that. I had to literally, my career had to dissolve because of COVID, because I was working on TV shows and commercials and I had to move states and he needed to refine me over and over.
Yeah.
Before he's like, okay, Nathan, now you're ready and you understand looking outward and not insular. Yeah. And so the church just needs to be reminded of that.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Yeah, that is. So I'll leave your audience with this. You guys American Christians are the most generous people in the world from a giving perspective. Your generosity, if stewarded well, could radically change the world. We wouldn't need to give more. We need to keep giving, yes, but the organizations just need to be better stewards of the resources.
Yeah,
it starts with transparency and accountability.
Steered to where it really needs to go.
Yeah.
Where people are thinking it's going.
Yeah. Absolutely. The Christian church could radically transform the world literally overnight, which is exciting.
Yeah, it is.
The resources are there. So
that's so great. I hope this just brings so much change for the better. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And if you guys, for your audience, it's like we need all the prayer we can get.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I'll be praying for you for all that.
Yeah, and it's like pray that God's will be done, of course. But like our desire is 200 million views on the show. It's what our consultant thinks that will drive federal change. So if we get 200 million views globally, basically every other kitchen table will be talking about this topic, which means governments will have to start talking about it too. So our desire is 200 million views. And then our desire is mass adoption of the app, because if there's mass adoption of the app, then nonprofits will have to start playing more accountable and be more transparent with their resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
really
great.
Change.
Yeah.
We just go to the app. I have to download all that.
Yeah, you have to go through our process.
Thank you for even offering to include us.
Yeah, no,
honored.
I really want smaller nonprofits right now because you guys are more accountable with resources than the big
girls.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the big girls.
We do fundraising.
Yeah.
Well, I got a Facebook one right now, but
yeah. We do the little birthday.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So that's what we did. We got 87 countries. We don't advertise, so we're not as big as some podcasts, but that's because our subjects, we cover subjects that people that are tough sometimes.
Yeah, they're
like
not.
this one
Yeah.
right now is
Right,
not
all the time.
bullying because no one else wants to cover bullying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's the one we're doing right now.
Yeah. Wow.
The last one was on human trafficking. So that
Yeah.
was
Wow.
explicit, but now we're starting to do more boots on the ground and helping do an advocacy from beginning to end and helping the homeless and doing the things the Bible tells us to do.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't
That's
make sense
amazing.
not to.
That's amazing. And there's a big wave of change coming, and it's slow, right? And this is one thing that I always will encourage anybody I talk with, because I need the same encouragement. So I'll encourage you guys. Like sometimes we don't feel like we're moving the needle, but we see a week as a long time, but to change culture and to change perspective takes decades. And so I'm 40. My personal goal is when I'm 50, I want to wake up on my 50th birthday and say, hey, we helped drop deaths from malaria and tuberculosis by 50%. Hey, we helped end, I can't remember the stats. We actually wrote them down, but wipe out X amount of CSAM in the US, and we just want to see these milestones in all these issues dropping. And if we can do that, man, God used us in way bigger ways than we could have ever imagined. So you guys as well. It's like, just know that and Sister Rosemary says this. She goes, Nathan, it starts with a smile.
No, that's so true.
She goes, just giving someone a smile changes their day.
Yeah.
And
especially in this world right now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, we don't need to focus on changing the world. We need to focus on smiling. And so,
I've seen God work miracles in this nonprofit without money.
mm-hmm.
That's why I couldn't even imagine. And you say she taught going into the unknown. Every day it's an unknown for me. I don't know. I have any clue what I'm doing. I just try to be led by the Lord because I'm just trying to help people, but I don't know how to do it really. And then he does it in a way that I would never even imagine.
Well, because you said it. You said, I don't know how to help people really, but he does it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
You have to be available and willing.
Yeah, he's using you as a vessel. And I firmly believe he's using me as a vessel right now and Julie Roy's as a vessel.
Yeah.
And it's like, and do we fail? Absolutely.
Yeah.
All the time.
That's why we need him.
Yeah. But it's like, no, I'll wake up and I'll say, man, I screwed up yesterday. I did X, Y, and Z, or, I got angry or whatever. And it's like, oh, thanks God. You give me another chance. Use me as a vessel again today. And like, that's what's beautiful about the whole.
Yeah. Grace and mercy.
Yeah. The whole story. So, well, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you. You feel very special.
Yeah. Anything God wants to do. I'm like just in awe of everything that God does with very little. And so I'm waiting to see what he does now. Like we started helping the homeless, and then the next thing you know, I've got 1,000 pair of brand new socks in my truck. Like I'm like the bag lady sometimes with the stuff I have in my car, and then I just give it to other nonprofits that need it. So they get excited when they see me now, and it's kind of funny because now I get why they're
so that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, I don't know if you know, but there's a lot of there's a lot more domestic violence and single women fleeing and stuff this year with like 5 and 6 kids where the dad's either on drugs or they're just out of the picture and they're all working.
Yeah. We talk about that in the show.
Yeah. They're all working women but they just need a little extra help. We get a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, and man, I talk about that in the show. I'm like, what better population for the institutional church to go out and help than single mothers? Like,
they don't really get addressed much.
Yeah, it's to me, politics aside, it's like the pro-life movement. I always ask this to pastors. They're always like, yeah, pro-life. Okay, I'm pro-life too. What are you doing for the single moms? What are you doing for these moms to help have the children?
Right.
What's your follow through? And they're like, what do you mean, Nathan? And I'm like, you can stomp on the steps of the Capitol all day long, but where's your program? Hey, you got that. There was one church in California, their children's facility, they spent $3 million building out this children's facility. It looks like Disneyland. And I was talking to the pastor and I was like, hey, like, how often is this used? And they're like, every Sunday. And I'm like, okay, you're super political. You're pro-life, which is great. Yeah. Why don't you start a single mothers program here? Let them be able to drop their kids off. Start a daycare. Spend $500,000
a building for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he literally was like, oh, we don't want the children's facility to be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So they literally built this picture perfect facility and they're afraid something's going to get scratched in it. And I'm like, you could be helping 100 single mothers in your area every day.
Yeah,
I've got a lady right now with children and she can't, she's about $3,500 saved up for a car. And so they work and they're trying. And it's like, so we've been trying to find her a car and, it's all these resources where the church could really be helpful in something like this. Because now she's still waiting. I still talk to her and she's just so sad because, she's waiting for a car so she can work.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the cool things about the series is we're showing examples of different churches and different nonprofits doing the model differently. And the goal there is to inspire people to be like, hey, our church does have that children's care. Let's start a youth program for single mothers. Hey, we have that open space and we have a lot of mechanics here. Let's do every Saturday for 4 hours, change oil for free.
Yeah, because these women need car repair too.
100%. So it's like, those are what we want to show to get people thinking like, man, we can actually do this. And it costs us almost nothing, Yeah. So
awesome.
There's just people need to be excited and encouraged to rethink the model. So
he gave us creativity to be able to.
I can't wait to see this documentary because I tell people all this stuff's happening, but it's like it's not registering. I'm like, you don't have any idea what's going on out there. So I'm glad that you're going to show people.
Well, and that's the coolest part is we're just showing people because when you see Sister Rosemary and what she's doing and her entire annual budget is $80,000.
Oh, wow.
And, she has 300 girls living on site with their kids. She feeds 2,000 kids every day in South Sudan. And she's like, oh yeah, my budget's $80,000. And then then right after that, we cut to someone's housing allowance. That's almost $1 million a year just for their houses.
What a
and
contrast.
It's like all we need to show is the juxtaposition of these stories. We don't even we're not saying who's right or wrong because you as the viewer are just going to be disgusted with it.
Yeah.
Oh,
the contrast.
Yeah. So it's, who's the hands and feet of God is kind of what we're pointing to.
It's weird out when you're passionate about something, like we could just go on and on and on all day.
For sure.
All three. I know it because we didn't even tap into stuff. But anyway, we'd like to thank you so much for being on the podcast. When's your documentary coming out and any information on when the app's coming out?
Yeah. So we will 100% be ready in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store for Android. The app is an MVP. I'm really excited because right now I feel a lot of people think we're just smoke and mirrors because we've launched one trailer and we have a big Instagram following, but and we put out a lot of content, but no one's seen much of the show or the app. The app has taken 80% of my time and energy. And so I'm exhausted by it. So you'll be able to just download it like any other app in the App Store. The show, we're going to be building a proprietary streaming platform on the religionbusiness.com.
Great.
Oh, very exciting.
Yeah, so I'm glad we got to interview you now because we're going to try to line it up all,
Oh, beautiful.
So that people will listen to that and then watch your show.
Yeah. So it'll be the religionbusiness.com. You'll be able to download the app from the religionbusiness.com.
Well, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're very excited. Good work.
Yeah, we're close. And then I got to reset because I don't know what I'm going to do next.
I'm just glad we got you because you're going to be even more tired.
Yeah.
We're like,
well, then we're running a technology company, which is, and that's a big one too. We didn't register. We are not a nonprofit. We are a for-profit business. And there's a big one. And the reason why we chose that, because we could have been a nonprofit, is the for-profit business vehicle is the most accountable from a structural perspective. And so we said, hey, we can do exactly what a nonprofit does and be a for-profit. We don't have to take
an example of how to do it.
Yeah, we don't have to take that exemption. And then the cool part is, since we don't take that exemption, the limitations of a 501c3 aren't applied to us.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to show that there's different models that you can better the world and better humanity with. It doesn't have to be.
I know there's a nonprofit out here and they just have to keep opening new nonprofits under the umbrella of their nonprofit because as soon as it makes so much money, they got to start another nonprofit.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the nonprofit sector is primed.
Yeah. We wouldn't even need to get into that, but yeah. Thought that was kind of nuts.
Yeah, that is. It's wild.
But anyway, thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you
guys so much.
Day. All right. Have a good day. Praying for you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I'm not on Facebook because I'm permanently banned.
Not surprising.
Thanks for tuning in to Hanging On to Hope. Check out our website, hangingontohope.org. There are resources on there, and if you would like to donate or volunteer, you can do that through our website. We are a brand new nonprofit, so we appreciate any and all support. And we thank you for listening, and until next time, keep hanging on to hope. We are evidence that there is hope and healing for you, and our passion is to help you find it too. So thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening, everyone.